G'day guys, my name is Lord Tomo, and this is not Sonic, it is actually Garfield. I figured it was time to grow up and stop liking Sonic. It was a part of my life which I do not want to remember, and Garfield is my new love. And nah, I'm just joking. Even though Garfield's pretty adorable, Sonic is still pretty much a big part of my life. So let's put this guy aside. That's actually my sister's stuffed teddy bear. Hope she doesn't watch this video actually. Anyway, this is the actual star of the stove. Oh god, I love that. His battery's eventually gonna die, so I might as well do this as much as possible. Wait. It's like an endorphin. Anyway, this is the main star of the actual show itself, or other than myself, but nobody necessarily wants to know about me because I'm not special enough. Let's get into the actual item itself. Now, this is the actual item itself. Now, it is a limited edition pack, or Sonic Colors limited edition pack game review. I'm going to play around with the words before I upload this because I really don't know the best way to basically label this. It is the actual game Sonic Colors, and it's more or less pretty. Is that can you even describe anything like that? Pretty? Anyway, it's pretty to say the least. So this is the limited edition. Now, you could only get this if you pre-ordered it. Now, in Australia, I'm pretty sure it happens worldwide really, but in Australia we have a thing called EB Games, which I'm pretty sure they have in the US, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they do. We also have Game Traders, JBR5. Pretty much what they want to do is outdo themselves and just have like pre-order editions and etc, and sell their products, so we can go. I decided to go with the EB version because you did get a nice little box, and you also get a nice little figurine. Little nice pickup for my collection. I pre-ordered it when it first came out. Obviously it's a couple of years now since I've had it, but I figured, might as well get into it and review it. So for the most part, let's get into the actual packaging itself, move around and go from there. First and foremost, the package itself, it is predominantly white. Initially when I first saw this, I was a bit hesitant. I was like, what? Why white? It doesn't really sell it for me. Actually, it grew on me simply because of the nature of the box, the box itself, and the nature of the design itself. So obviously you have the thing at the top, which is obviously the Wii. I got it for the Wii. Obviously this game is designed for Wii. They had two other games as well. This is the limited edition. Well, I'm pretty sure they had this for PlayStation 3 and Xbox. I don't know. I bought this for the Wii. It has Wi-Fi capabilities. You can upload your records and whatnot, and obviously you have the actual figurine, which is Sonic the Hedgehog and a couple of Whisk. This is reminiscent of Jazzware, so no doubt Jazzware was part of this more or less promotion. They created the actual little design. You also have the robots here, which are starring heaps in the actual comic itself. You have Cubot and Circlebot, Cubot and Squarebot, I think it is. My mind is not where it should be. So yeah, you have those two robots which do star in the actual Sonic the Hedgehog comic, which I quite find awesome. I think I might play. I think I might do like a mini review saga sort of thing with the Sonic Universe comics. Who knows? You also have what it is, G-rated. Obviously, it's for general public. You have the title, Sonic Colors. The Sonic is pretty nice, and the colors is obviously pretty cute itself. And you obviously have Sega, PAL, and Nintendo. On the side, you just have Sonic jumping out. You have various wisps. And this was more or less the gimmick of the actual game itself. I'm not going to talk about too much about the game gameplay. I'll probably maybe do a review down the track of the game itself, but more or less the gimmick was you pick various wisps, they give you various abilities, and you can complete the zones or various parts of the zone depending on which wisp you take. At the very bottom, you include limited edition, includes Sonic Colors, Wii game, plus figurines. Pretty adorable. At the back, you have obviously Dr. Eggman. Welcome to Dr. Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park. Pretty cute, pretty adorable. I like how they did throwback of the whole, cliche sort of oh my god sort of aspect of it. Also play. Oh look, you can also play as you're me. How adorable! You had various other parts and zones in the various at the very top here controllers. At the back, just the same. At the bottom. What I do like about the overall packaging itself, which really struck me a lot, and which really impressed me to be honest, is this very imperialistic design, if I can call it that. It's very imperial, very throws back to the medieval, and you can see that across the actual overall design for the grades and all the imperialism. It just gives the overall package itself a more character, which is one of the reasons why I actually just end up loving this packaging. I know it's pretty weird that talking about packaging, but it's nice to have a collectible that you can actually say, well, I love the packaging more than like the item. And truth be told, I actually do. The item itself is just standard Jazzware sort of figurines, but it doesn't really sell me. The actual packaging itself sold me more, which was pretty impressive within itself, I suppose. And at the very top, you just open it up. Standard, nothing too crazy. And you have, first and foremost, you have the game. Before I take out the item, this is the actual game. I got it for the Wii. So this is the Sonic colors. Sega, you have Sonic the Hedgehog jumping out with the various wisps. In the Game Boy 3DS, I do believe they had another version of this. However, in that one, you had different wisps that did different abilities, which I have yet to pick up. Sadly enough, I will pick it up eventually. Just have it come around. This is Dr. Eggman, Incredible Interstellar Amusement, etc., etc. And in the inside, you have obviously the game, and you have the instruction manual, which if anybody has the game, you'll probably be familiarized. So that's the actual game. Pretty nice within itself. Now, before I take out the item, I wouldn't say it's so much of a gimmick, but it's more of a, hey, I didn't know that. I'll show you first. I should have done this first, actually. Now, if you look closely at the background, you can actually see that the actual figurine Sonic is somewhat replacing the Sonic on the actual game, and kind of gives it more of an after illusion, if that can be a word, or the best way to describe it. As in, the actual interior is, you can see various other wisps, and you can see like the world kind of popping at the background. Kind of gives it, in my personal opinion, this illusion that he's actually within the world. It's kind of a 3D symmetrical 3D illusion, if I can call it that. Obviously, once you remove it, it becomes plain. It's not as prominent. I just find that more of a nitpick. I'm not too sure if they were aiming that when they were more or less putting this as package form, but if they did, kudos to you. If they didn't, well, it was impressive nonetheless. Now, when you take out the figurines, there's absolutely nothing at the bottom. It's just your standard, just a manila box. Nothing too crazy in that sense. We're going to put this here for now, and this is the actual figurine. Now, this plastic is pretty flimsy. Obviously, it's not designed for you to keep it as collectible. Well, obviously I did, but, to each their own, right? And you have, obviously, the various wisps. Why do I say whip? Whiplash! That's how you should say, whiplash. Anyway, so this is obviously one of the wisps. Pretty adorable. Pretty well designed. Like, obviously, the wisps themselves aren't drastic in terms of, detail and coloration. It's pretty nice. And you have obviously the back end. You have this little pivot point that's coming out there. I will explain that shortly. I'm just going to show you all the wisps first. It isn't too much of a crazy gimmick, to be honest, but it's there nonetheless. Put Sonic aside for now. Grab the other wisp. There we go. Put this plastic there. Here's the other wisp. Once again, extremely well detailed. It is a wisp, nothing too drastic. He has his little legs, and he has this little pivot point as well, which is pretty standard. And you have obviously the knuckles. Now you can see how my one's pretty. Oh, my leg is forever broken. That's how I got mine, which pretty bummed about. I think you can actually twist it. I think you can. Yeah, I'll play around with mine time. I'm pretty sure you can. It's like his leg's broken. Pretty much this is the actual Sonic figurine itself. I'm pretty sure it was created by Jazzware. I haven't necessarily found any reference to it, but Jazzware is a pretty much prominent manufacturer of Sonic toys nowadays. Other than obviously First for Figures and other small developers like Gizmo. I think that's one of them where I purchased a few die-cast Sonic games. I mean, not Sonic games, Sonic cards. But this is the actual Sonic figurine. Has your standard articulation for Jazzware figurines. If you guys ever checked out Jazzware is just a manufacturer for toys. Obviously one of the subdivisions is obviously Sonic, and to be honest, I get mixed reviews. A lot of people say that Jazzware is a pretty crap sort of manufacturer. If you ask me, they're pretty awesome in terms of the stuff that has come out. Never in your life will you ever see articulations of this nature, and plus the pivot points of each area is pretty not flimsy, so it doesn't like just hang out or flip out. It's pretty sturdy. Like, there you go. If you want him to have his arm broken, congratulations, you got his arm broken. So it really depends. Obviously if you play around with too much, you'll probably break it, but You know, to each their own. At the very back, you just have his spikes, his tails, and obviously more articulations and more screw points where obviously the figurine is more or less screwed in. And a very nice attention to details, even to the soles of the shoes, even to the size of the shoes. So it's pretty quite impressive. I would have preferred maybe, you know, a better looking pose than just his arms open like, oh my god, how Jesus Mary. But that's that. So just to explain the gimmick, if at all, these are the pivot points that go into his hand, and it looks like he has been crucified by the wisps themselves. No religious jokes intended. Just kidding. So that's that. Pretty nice. Basically absorbs the wisp, does his thing, and away he goes. The only drawback I have to this, amongst all the other Joes, he has no mouth. I don't know if my one came with it like that or not. Unfortunately, my one does not come with a mouth. A mouth. So yeah, you can't really complain too much about it. You know, a figurine is a figurine. Now, obviously, with any of the Jazzware figurines, if you play around with too much, it will slowly start to come off and break. I can already see some stress marks happening on these figurines, so I'm not going to mess around with it too much because I don't want this to be broken of any sorts. So look, in terms of rarity, pretty much they were limited stock. You had to pre-order them. So unless if you pre-order them, you could not get it or should not get it. So there was always that. I'm just gonna gently put him here whilst I explain what I mean. So yeah, that's pretty much overall. Nice little figurine, just no mouth. And his, oddly enough, his eyes look like, oh my god, kill me now, kill me. We shall never kill you, Sonic. We shall never kill you. So my one is pretty much in mint condition. Obviously, what more could you want in a figurine, to be honest? So, in terms of rarity, look at the time, obviously with anything that's pre-ordered, you had to get a pre-order. Didn't get pre-ordered, on launch date, you never got it. Which, you know, that's what a lot of game companies go for, collector's purposes. So, there's that. So, automatically straight at the bat, if you never pre-ordered it, if you pre-ordered it, you know, obviously rarity will be 1 out of 10. Since you pre-ordered it and it came released, and obviously pre-orders are not, you know, accessible, if that's even a word. You can't get it once the game was out. This became rare automatically, and even more so rare, to be honest. I've checked eBay, Amazon, and all that sort of stuff. This game, oddly enough, has never been necessarily, like, not the game itself, but the actual packages of has never been re-released ever again. So I don't know if people are collecting this as collectibles, or if this was an Australian exclusive. I'm going to assume it's an Australian exclusive, because initially when this first came out, it was never released in the US, not the package itself, obviously the game. Well, the game itself came out in the US, but the package itself, I never saw it on the US market or even in Amazon. So I'm pretty sure this is an Australian, more or less exclusive, to promote Australian buyers to purchase this, because being the PAL version, you can technically get it from the US cheap or the UK cheaper and bring it over. So this is more or less, hey look, why buy it there when you can get this, which was a nice little, you know, pick me up, if you can call it that. So look, in terms of rarity, I'm probably going to have to bump this up maybe to, I wouldn't say 10 out of 10, because I have seen it a few times. I'll probably give it maybe 8.5 stars out of 10. It is definitely high up there for the game itself, but in terms of the package itself, you know, it's definitely hard to find. How much did I get it for? Look, you know, I got it initially for $100. This is just pre-order and everything, so it's $100, you know, plus that. So it's obviously worth more now, obviously, but as to what the bidding price is now, I can't say for sure. But it's definitely worth a catch, and you know, for what I like to believe that's an Australian exclusive, I'm gonna have to say it's definitely worth its price in gold. His weight in gold, price in gold, blah blah blah. And guys, I also did pick up Sonic All-Star Transform, which I'm definitely going to be playing during the weekend. But anyway, that's a whole different ball game, that game. So yeah, rarity 8.5 stars out of 10. Limited edition. Purchase price $100. Could be more now, who knows. And obviously, it was more or less released in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. I can't think, but I think I've missed something. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, guys, if you do like this review, by all means, you can always thumbs up. You can always, like. You can always even comment. You don't even have to do that. You can just look and say, yeah, I'm gonna go and do something else now. It's totally up to you guys. But look, honestly, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Sonic items. If you want more, you can let me know. I'm glad to do more reviews throughout the week. I do have a crazy amount of stuff to review, so pretty nice. Anyway, guys, take care and speed on. Take care.